Now, there are plenty of videos about what's in a photographer's camera bag, and I have such video myself too. But there are not many videos about a photographer's everyday carry, about all the small accessories that can fit in a pocket and are actually extremely useful in different situations. That is, of course, if you don't have your pocket already occupied by a camera, like this tiny, teeny Fujifilm X-T3 with the 18-55 kit lens, which is a fully functional USB key. But anyway, jokes aside, today I'm going to dig deep into EDC, and I will add timestamps in the description below so you can jump to the items you want to see. And of course, there will be links to the products themselves. But there is a lot to cover, so let's get straight into it. Oh, and by the way, at the time of recording, almost all of these products are under £50. Most of them even under £20, and as low as £5. So where do I keep my EDC? The left pocket in my jeans is where I have my iPhone, and sometimes even two phones. And therefore, many of these items, they need to fit in the right pocket. And this is where I keep my wallet and my keyring. So let's see what's in them. Next to my keys is where I hold 5 of the items I'll show you today. There's a cutter, a flashlight, a USB cable, a multi-tool, and a pen. I've been backing InCharge products for a while now, and these cables have really gotten better and better. This small USB cable now has a USB-A and USB-C port on one side, and a USB-C and the Lightning on the other. And of course, you can purchase the micro USB version if you need it. I think the design is genius and has now been copied a lot. You can switch the ports by simply sliding the front to reveal the port that's underneath, and it stays closed thanks to magnets, which can also become useful to hold light objects, as I'll show you with the next item. And this supports power transfer from one device to another, so you don't even need a power bank. You could use your phone to power up the GoPro, for example, assuming that these devices also support power transfer between devices. Or you could suck all the power from your friend's phone to power yours, and maybe lose a friend in the process. Now, why would I carry an extra light when I can use the flash on my phone? Well, there are situations where you may want to save your phone battery to start, or maybe you just want your hands free rather than having to hold your phone. And this tiny flashlight from Slug House called Bullet can be popped in your mouth, or you can even use the magnets of the InCharge cable to attach it somewhere, like on your car trunk or any other metal surface. The light is quite powerful for this tiny size, so you can use it to light the way if you're in the woods, for example, or when you're shooting the Milky Way at the Dado Door here in UK. I've done that. Now, this is not rechargeable via USB, but uses replaceable batteries, and I don't necessarily endorse that. But I've had it for 2 years and used it probably 2 or 3 times a week, and still works on the same batteries. And it's in titanium as well, so it's very, very durable. Now, from the same Slug House company comes the Nano Pen. Now, I'm sure you have all found yourselves in a situation where you absolutely need a pen, like when you need to sign the delivery of your shiny new camera, for example. And I know, you could always sign with your blood, but that may be impractical, and I'm not even sure it's legally binding in every country. But we all know from books and films how these can turn bad pretty quickly. So better keep this Nano Pen always with you. And you can tell I carry this all the time by the wear and tear signs on it. But yeah, here I'm only recommending stuff that I use every day. That's why this looks almost destroyed already. And this also doubles as smartphone or tablet pen, although this is also in titanium, so you may want to be careful about scratches. I'm sure you all have screen protectors, right? And then comes the cutter. Now, at the time of recording, the company behind the C13 microknife is still dealing with delays delivering the Kickstarter purchases, so it's not available to the public yet, but I will add a link in the description as soon as this is available. The C13 microknife works very, very well to open parcels and pretty much anything. You could open packets of hand warmers when you're out in the cold to shoot a time-lapse, like I did, or you can open packets of crisps if you need a quick snack, etc. It was already gross to open packets handled by humans with dirty fingers with your teeth, but now with the pandemic it's a big no-no anyway, so better have this tiny cutter with you all the time. And also, if you forgot your pen, you can use it to puncture yourself and sign with your blood, but as I said earlier, not recommended. And last in the keyring is the Night Eyes key tool, which is a carabiner, a small wrench, a screwdriver, a bottle and can opener, a small ruler, and a parcel opener. And also the cheapest item in the list at only £5. Now, some of these tools may not be incredibly helpful on a daily basis, but it has the bottle opener, and I live in the UK, so at any given time I'm only 1 minute away from a beer. And you can also turn this into a fidget toy if you want. I mean, really, I could keep clicking this for hours. Now, when it comes to the wallet, a few years ago I decided to go minimal with my wallet. I used to have a very large wallet in my back pocket, but here in UK there is no reason to carry cash around, and you can also hold all the loyalty cards in an app on your phone. So now I keep my back pockets empty, which is great to look slightly skinnier from behind as well. I was voted best bum in high school, so I have a reputation to keep. For a quick comparison, this is how much I was able to downsize with the minimalist wallet. I mean, look at the size of that thing. And my wallet these days is the minimalist wallet. This one is made with carbon fiber and can hold up to 12 cards, although I only carry a couple just for backup. And they are always quickly accessible with just a push from your thumb. And one of the cards I store in my wallet is the Attenuo card, which I use for extra protection, as it's an RFID shield that protects my data at all time. And it's black, or, well, it used to be when I bought it years ago, so bonus points for that. And the other items in the wallet are another pair of very nifty tools. The Wallet Ninja 18-in-1, here in the red limited edition, is another great tiny tool for all the times when you need rulers, screwdrivers, wrenches, etc. It has more option than the key tool I showed earlier, and can also work as a phone stand if you insert another card in it, which you probably have because it's in the card wallet. It's not the best at that, but it does the job, sort of. And you can use it to write Wallet Ninja or just Ninja any way you want. Now, I don't seem to be able to write all the letters, but maybe it's just the Ninja camouflage. Now, on a serious note, bear in mind that the edges are a bit on the sharp side, so you may have problems letting this past an airport security. And another project I backed on Kickstarter long ago was this pocket tripod for smartphones. And this comes with adapters for different phone sizes and even phones with a case, so it's really useful. You quickly twist the center and fold the sizes, so then you can put the phone in it to watch something, have a FaceTime call, shoot a time-lapse, or whatever you fancy. And the cheap price really makes this so convenient that there is no reason not to get one. Just be careful when outdoors. Trust me when I tell you that on a windy day, the ledge overlooking a river, it may not be the best place to leave it on for a quick selfie. Now, moving on to the jacket. Attached to the zips here I have two Night Eyes S Biner. These are great carabiners because they are quite strong for their tiny size and for the cheap price you pay. You can use them to attach any of the items I just showed you to your bag, or maybe a water bottle, your shoes, or anything that needs to be attached. And you can also use them to secure the bag to the bottom of the tripod for better stability, when things could get shaky because it's very windy outside. Personally, I find it easier to attach a carabiner to the hook than the large bag handle. And these S-biners can hold many objects, like I said, but can also secure your bag. You can, for example, attach the two zips of your bag to each side of the carabiner, and there is a lock mechanism in the middle that keeps it closed. You simply turn this black wedge into position, and that's it, you cannot open the carabiner anymore. So this is extremely useful against pickpockets in crowded situations, for example in a subway. Now let's move to the side pockets, and here, together with my earphones, I keep the Takeaway G1 tripod, which looks like a sort of robotic beetle when you open the legs. Now this can be bought separately or together with the super handy clamp pod, which I also have, but it's not pocketable, so it doesn't make it to this list. And okay, maybe this is not the most appealing toy, but it's very unassuming, and 99% of the times it goes unnoticed in places where you can't take a tripod with you. You can use it on its own, attaching a mirrorless camera to the screw, but it's also great with a tiny ball head like this one. And if you shoot with a phone, the Takeaway G1 could be used for clamps, like for example the Manfrotto ones that I have. And in the other pocket I keep the life-saving small rig pouch. Now these actually came with the small rig folding toolset that I'll show you in a second, but I did fill it with many more items. This pouch is where I carry a couple lens wipes, some bongo ties, some extra SD cards, and the Peak Design holders replacement, which to be fair I never had to use in my many years with Peak Design, but the whole point of everyday carry is to be prepared for the unexpected, so that's why they come with me. And as I said, the pouch came with a small rig folding toolset. This set contains Allen keys, screwdrivers and wrenches that are always very useful with the many items you carry with you as a photographer. Whether it's a rig or a cage attached to your camera or tripod legs or a gimbal or any other accessory, you very likely need to have access to an Allen key or a wrench or a screwdriver more than once. And this small multi-tool really covers the vast majority of situations. Now, interestingly, SmallRig now also makes a smaller version with less tools, but for a higher price, so I always recommend this one. I also always keep a couple of bongo ties because, again, it's the kind of item you can use in multiple occasions. For example, they can be used to attach a small tripod to a lamppost or a branch, or to secure a power bank to a tripod, something that may come in handy if you shoot a time-lapse for a long period, for example. Really, there are infinite uses for these tough rubber bands, so the bongo ties come with me all the time. Moving up to the chest pocket, here I carry my Platypod Ultra. This, I believe, is the most expensive item in this list, but it's useful in very diverse situations where you can't use a tripod or just didn't want to carry the extra weight. You can't really use it on its own because it has a larger screw than the one that's in your camera, but you can attach different heads to it. If you have a bag, you can take with you a large ball head that would do the job perfectly. But here I'm keeping things small and light and pocketable, so I use a small panoramic head. And despite the appearance, the Platypod is not necessarily limited to a flat surface. In fact, the Ultra comes with screws that you can use as legs to change the angle. They basically do the same job of a ball head, just with a bit more work. And depending on the surface, you can screw them in upwards or downwards, as the screws can also work as spikes for soft surfaces. And if you check on the internet, there are photographers that always find even more clever ways to use it. And then in my super secret sleeve pocket is the Blind Spot Crack Light. Now this is another project that I backed on Kickstarter, I think it was more than a year ago. It's a fantastic LED light that takes zero space and can be used in a variety of situations. It's ridiculously thin and light, so there's no reason to not have it with you at all time. Now, granted, you may have to attach it to a power bank, but the way smartphones work these days, you likely have one with you anyway. My favorite usage for the crack light is as an external light for portraits, because I can hold it in one hand while I shoot with a camera or the iPhone on the other. Now, as you know, if you use the embedded flash in your camera or in your phone, the direct light can be harsh on someone's face, and so to be able to move the light to a side or higher can yield great results. It's also absolutely great for small product photography at home or as a practical light in your videos. Now, you can buy the version with a dimmer as well, which is really useful, but is also making the item a tad expensive. I mean, it works great, but it's an extra £50. And in the same side pocket, I also keep the lens pen. Now, I have the bundle of 3 pens for lenses, filters and viewfinders, but I only carry the smallest micro version here in the pocket. In the bag, I also have the larger ones, but this is the one that is always with me. The macro lens pen is absolutely good enough for the majority of the dust that can deposit on your lens while you're in the city. And for everything else, I can also use the lens swipe that I keep in the SmallRig pouch that I showed you earlier. And using the brush to clean a lens is very satisfying. Very satisfying. And then of course there's the SmallRig L bracket, which is not in my pockets, but it's always with me attached to my camera, so I suppose this counts too. L brackets are the one accessory I always buy first when I get a new camera, because they give me extra grip, but also makes it very convenient to switch between landscape and portrait when you use a tripod. And my favorite brand, of course, is SmallRig again. These are very solid, they look beautiful, and SmallRig always start working with camera prototypes, so you can be sure that when your camera is released, they do have your bracket ready. And in fact, I even received this bracket before I got the X-T4. Right, time to put everything back in the pockets and go shoot. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel.